tension in the studio was palpable the moment Prince Harry took his seat on Stephen Colbert's show. The audience, buzzing with anticipation, sensed that something unusual was about to unfold. Colbert, ever the seasoned host, greeted him warmly, but his sharp eyes hinted at the potential for confrontation. Harry, aware of the cameras and millions watching at home, exhaled slowly, trying to steady his nerves. He knew his words in the coming minutes could ignite controversy, but he felt compelled to speak his truth, regardless of the consequences. The exchange began civilly, with pleasantries and light jokes, yet beneath the surface, both men seemed to be circling each other cautiously, like the skilled chess players anticipating the first strike. The audience leaned in, sensing the underlying tension, aware that this interview could easily slip from cordial conversation to a clash of opinions that might dominate headlines for days. Within minutes, the dialogue took a sharper turn. Harry, growing increasingly frustrated with certain insinuations and questions that seemed to trivialize his experiences, decided to speak candidly. His voice, usually measured and composed, carried a noticeable edge as he articulated his frustrations with the media, public scrutiny, and pressures he had endured as a royal. Colbert, sensing the shift, attempted to interject with humor, but Harry's pointed comments cut through the banter like a knife. The studio fell into a hush as the audience realized that the exchange was no longer playful. It had become a battle of wills, with both men asserting their perspectives fiercely. Every camera angle captured Harry's intensity and Colbert's attempts to maintain control, documenting a growing tension that would soon erupt. Observers at home began tweeting and posting clips, instantly amplifying the drama, knowing that this was not a routine interview, but a confrontation poised to become viral. Harry's remarks, focusing on deeply personal experiences and public misconceptions, struck a nerve with Colbert. The host, typically quick-witted and confident in redirecting conversations, felt a rare moment of uncertainty as Harry spoke with raw emotion. Lines of questioning meant to entertain were met with serious, unflinching truths that Colbert could not easily counter. The audience sat forward, captivated by the intensity, sensing that the exchange had crossed an invisible boundary into uncharted territory. Harry's demeanor, while firm, was not aggressive. It was composed yet resolute, demanding acknowledgement of experiences that had often been dismissed or sensationalized in public discourse. Colbert, momentarily thrown off balance, searched for a way to regain his footing without escalating further, realizing that the situation had evolved beyond his typical control over the narrative. The conversation escalated further as Harry directly challenged Colbert on certain remarks and assumptions. His words were precise, intentional, and imbued with emotion that conveyed the gravity of his perspective. Colbert, initially attempting to steer the dialogue back to lighter subjects, found that each pivot was met with Harry's unwavering focus. The energy in the studio was electric. Cameras captured subtle facial expressions, tense postures, and the growing unease that permeated the set. The audience could feel the confrontation, a mix of anticipation and shock as the dialogue teetered between civility and conflict. Harry's insistence on addressing the realities of his life brought a sudden seriousness to the show, transforming a routine celebrity appearance into a moment charged with cultural and personal significance. Leaving both host and viewers acutely aware that the usual dynamics had shifted irreversibly. As Harry pressed on, emphasizing the impact of invasive media coverage and public scrutiny on his personal and family life, Colbert's attempts at humor fell flat. The usual rhythm of the show, banter, laughter, audience engagement, was replaced by a charged atmosphere where every word carried weight. Harry's delivery, calm yet firm, made it clear that he would not be deflected or diminished, and the audience responded with a mixture of empathy, surprise, and fascination. Colbert, confronted with the unexpected intensity, tried to navigate carefully, but each interjection seemed to underscore the imbalance of control in the room. Analysts and commentators would later note that this segment exemplified the challenges of balancing entertainment with real, personal truths. As the lines between casual interview and high-stakes dialogue blurred with every exchange, the tipping point came when Harry's tone sharpened in response to what he perceived as dismissive commentary. Colbert, despite years of experience, struggled to contain the mounting tension. The audience sat in stunned silence, realizing that the confrontation had reached a climax. Harry's assertions, unwavering and articulate, underscored a narrative that was seldom given full expression on mainstream platforms. The interplay of personal disclosure, emotional resonance, and journalistic probing created a scene that was at once compelling and uncomfortable. Viewers at home were riveted, recognizing the raw honesty that contrasted sharply with the usual polished humor of late-night television. The intensity of the moment suggested that traditional roles of host and guest were being recalibrated in real time, challenging conventional expectations of televised interviews. In a dramatic escalation, Harry directly addressed Colbert, questioning certain jokes and assumptions that had been made about his experiences. The challenge was met with a pause, a rare moment of vulnerability in a host accustomed to rapid-fire comebacks. The audience's reaction shifted from excitement to palpable tension, sensing that boundaries had been tested and norms confronted. Harry's perspective, delivered with controlled intensity, demanded acknowledgement and respect, and the studio dynamic shifted decisively in his favor. Colbert, for the first time in the interview, appeared visibly unsettled, weighing how to respond without further inflaming the situation. Social media erupted in real time, clips circulating instantly, with commentators dissecting every word, gesture, and expression, amplifying the impact far beyond the confines of the studio. Ultimately, the confrontation reached a breaking point. Colbert, attempting to restore the usual flow of conversation, found himself unable to contain the intensity of Harry's candid revelations. In a moment that would make headlines, the host decided to end the interview prematurely, signaling that the guest's fiery comments had overtaken the planned structure of the show. The audience reacted with a mixture of shock, applause, and murmurs, fully aware that they had witnessed a rare instance in which a celebrity guest had effectively seized control of a major televised platform. Harry, composed but resolute, gathered his composure as the segment concluded, leaving behind a palpable sense of triumph for having voiced his truth under pressure. The aftermath of the episode was immediate and widespread. Social media platforms were inundated with clips, reactions, and analyses of the confrontation. Viewers debated the propriety of ending the interview versus the legitimacy of Harry's candid disclosures. News outlets dissected each moment, highlighting the rare dynamic in which a guest had unsettled a host of Colbert's stature. The story dominated trending topics, with hashtags proliferating and online forums buzzing with opinion and interpretation. Analysts noted that this incident exemplified broader cultural conversations about public figures, privacy, and the responsibilities of media platforms in accommodating personal narratives. Harry's comments had transcended entertainment, sparking dialogue that resonated far beyond the boundaries of late-night television. In the days that followed, the segment continued to reverberate across media outlets and public discourse. Harry's refusal to be minimized or deflected became a defining moment in his public narrative, reinforcing perceptions of authenticity, courage, and advocacy. Colbert's decision to end the show early was scrutinized, debated, and replayed repeatedly, further cementing the episode as an unforgettable clash of personalities. Audiences and commentators alike recognized that the interview had shifted the late-night landscape, challenging traditional expectations and underscoring the delicate balance between humor, candor, and confrontation. Ultimately, Prince Harry's appearance left an indelible mark, a testament to the power of speaking one's truth even in the face of formidable opposition, and a reminder that televised encounters can, at times, reveal far more than entertainment. They can capture a cultural moment in real time. After the episode aired, the discussion didn't die down. People across the country debated not only Prince Harry's courage, but also Colbert's response, dissecting every word, gesture, and pause. Online forums and social media were flooded with theories about what had pushed Harry to speak so directly and unapologetically. Many viewers recognized his honesty about personal struggles as a rare example of a public figure, refusing to be silenced or trivialized. The conversation sparked widespread support, with audiences praising him for addressing sensitive topics not to provoke, but to call for understanding, respect, and acknowledgement of the pressures faced by public figures under constant scrutiny. As Harry left the studio, he felt a mix of relief and satisfaction. He knew this wasn't just another television segment. It was a moment where he could finally set the record straight on certain rumors and misconceptions. Despite the tension in the room, he felt he had taken the right step in standing by his experiences and viewpoints. Soon after the show, various organizations and advocacy groups reached out, supporting issues of privacy, mental health, and protection for public figures from overwhelming scrutiny. The episode became a defining moment in his public narrative, and the story of the interview circulated widely, cementing his reputation as someone willing to speak his truth even in front of millions of viewers.